that's a bit nicer audio-wise. Alright, so day 35 of work on the Protex extractor. Yesterday I had left off finishing changes to how our operation queues are working. Let me turn off my phone for a sec too. Mute it. I'd finished some changes with how we're handling operations within the extractor. And there was actually just one thing that I had to do before everything was good, and that was also deciding how to handle matches post script running, and then script creating a new set of matches. But the problem is we want to preserve matches across runs of operation queues, so we can have multiple operation queues. We think of that as a lists of operations to perform on the text as per whatever the user defined. Do all these operations. If you encounter a script, we need to get matches for the output of that script, handle them, but in the case where you have a capture after the script call, you need some way to deal with script matches rather than text matches. So the text matches, we actually got them from up here. So right after those get populated right after the hyperscan call. So down here in capture, we need to operate on a very specific segment of this match list. However, we want to throw the match list away after we're done with it. So we don't necessarily need to throw it away, but we want to basically free slots after we're done looping over all of our operations. You can safely clear it after running a script, if I am correct, because anytime you have a scan, you need to clear from a certain point. So calling scan simply just appends to it, and when we go and evaluate the matches after the fact, we pop each one. So all that needs to happen is this guy needs to move into capture. And I'm starting to wonder why this code is even in this else block. So after recording the starting index, we go and find because these are Python operations. So I'm saying op capture within PyModule, which doesn't make any sense to me. So again, why is this here? So maybe I record the actual starting index, and if we have a starting index, then we know we need to pop matches. And that sounds pretty hacky, but I'm fine with getting something working initially, because we'll go and clean it up later. these two lines, or these two blocks of code make sense. So if this is the first operation in an operation queue, we have no captures to operate on, so we need to have like a synthetic match, basically, which represents the entire text to look at. Otherwise, if this is the last operation, then we don't need to worry about anything. We just set another synthetic match. We set latest match to be a synthetic, be the entire buffer, basically. Because when we're finished with all of our operations, we're just writing whatever we last had for an extraction target, and then whatever we last found match indices wise. So yeah, let's yep, do this on that. I can rid this else block, and I can hoist or move everything into the capture scope. And again, we'll record. This needs to happen. This can happen up here still. And this is the guy that needs to exist in the else block. So again, the case where we want to basically fix all of our matches is, again, so we want to start from wherever the new, there's another solution to this. I can make another set of, I can make a match list that's dedicated to holding script matches. But the other way is to just use a singular array list and get away with just recording where the new indices started from, where the new matches were appended to, and then I can have a check down here that says, okay, if our match count differs from the initial match count, which is this guy up here. So what is the length of match count after this hyperscan call? If those two things differ in any way, then we know we're dealing from start index all the way to match length. And those are the matches that we need to operate on. Otherwise operate on the original match list. So we could do that, and again, this unifies these two bits of code, which I'm also happy about. What is, and we know, when do we know we need to match list pop? We need to match list pop. We need to resolve after prior to this hyperscan call. Where is my hyperscan call? Right here. So to do, we need to basically restore the restore match list. So it's essentially it's actually this bit right here is what we need to do. And let me also grab that pop. And I can remove most of this guy, and I can just grab the entire block. So compute the number of Python module matches that we got, which is, of course, this is after the fact. The starting index is going to be matchlist.length. So this is going to be the old starting index, right? We have a previous starting index. This guy is the previous index. Or should be anyway. So let's say that we had a Python module ran. So let's say we had initial set of matches at 3. We had 3 matches initially. We found a Python module. There was 1 match there. We're coming back to it. The starting index is currently length 4. From whatever the current match list looks like. The previous starting index would have been 3 actually. So let me record that. Just the latest starting index. And yeah, this is pretty hacky for now, but I want to avoid using another array list if I can get away with it. So this here assigns the minus the latest match offset. So again, this is 4 at this point. The latest match offsets would have been if we're recording starting index at 3, so taking this back from the top, we have 3 matches originally. We come into here and we found 1 match. Starting index is 3 at this point. This happens after, this is like after the call. Hey, what's up? This happens after the hyperscan call. And so this is going to be 4 minus the latest offset, which I need to record at some point. So in this case, I want to pop one thing. If we know that the previous, if the latest match offset was at 3, and so I don't know when to record that. I'll just throw it here. Latest match offset. Here's the starting index. So at this point, this is 4. This is going to be 4 minus. Should have been 3 at this point. No, because I want the previous match offset. So yes, this gives me 1. I'm saying initialize this. This needs to be the latest match offset. So this gets initialized to 3. This is less than 4. We remove 1 thing from the end of the array list. We update latest match offset to be starting index, which is 4. We perform a scan, and let's say we come back with 1 thing. So we then update latest match offset to be equal to stop length. So I can use starting index anymore? No. So look at the original match list length. Again, this is going to be, let's pretend this is 3. We compute how many new matches there now are. That would be the latest match offset. So this is like the previous run of a Python module scan. That's how many Python module matches we need to pop from the match list. That gets assigned there. Perform the scan again, and then update the latest match offset to be the new length. So I don't need starting index yet, but this needs to be, I need to handle the case where this is the first time that the scan is happening, because latest match offset is being initialized to 0 right now. And I can also record the number of matches. That way I don't have to do, if I'm recording just the match count and a starting index, if I'm recording match count and a starting index, then I can say this goes away, because this then becomes, this gets initialized to basically while we need to pop things, so we can say this is equal to, yep, latest match offset, and while match list index is less than latest count. Latest pi module match count. We're going to continue popping. We update latest match offset to be the current length of the list. I can't do that because then it's pointing at the end of the list. I can compute a starting index because I now know the length. So it's going to be, starting index is now just the current length of match list minus the number of matches. So if I get this, so kill off all the, so I guess I'm not recording. This way, the first time we hit this case, it's handled for us. So latest, instead of latest match offset, it's latest pi module match count. And this gets initialized to matchlist.items.length. Minus latest pi module match count. So again, if this is the first time this is ran, then a match list index is getting initialized to what exactly? Just the length of match list items, because this is 0 at this point. So if let's say it's like 4 being less than 0 is not true, so this doesn't get executed. So we're not popping anything. We then go and do our scan, which now we have to go and update the match count. This now reflects the length of the list. So compute the match list index. This can be to increment this. We'll do it this way. So that is 103. So after popping everything off, and I don't need to actually hold this, I can just consume it. do the scan, record the latest length. Again, from the top, we've got a, let's say this is 4 initially, this is 4 minus 0, matchless index is 4, this is 0, 4 is not less than 0, so we don't pop any matches. We find one new match, so latest match count is now. And am I recording match count, or am I just recording latest match list length? So this should be match list length plus. If I'm just recording match count, then if this is just like strictly match count, then this should be the previous length minus, so like this is length before and length after. It's the number of new matches that I just got. And so, yeah, this should be, if this is 1, right? We got 1 new match from the length, then that should give me the index to pop from. And we're gonna say this being less than, I think you just say this. You just say this is whatever, this can be 0. And we're gonna say, hey, while you're less than, and I can reuse this. Yeah. So this is list length prior to the scan. We can say pre-scan. Okay, so while match list index is less than our match length pre-scan, pop the appropriate amounts of matches off our match list, then go ahead and update the latest PyModule match counts to be equal to whatever we had, the new length minus pre-match length pre-scan. And I was saying matchless pre-scan. This needs to be... And I don't even need to compute this every time because this can get computed. This is always the, well, if I do latest PyModule match count is always the original match list items length minus however many, minus the current length minus the original item count. So I can do that up here, right after the scan. So we'll go ahead and cache the, here's the actual like original indices match count. So these are like text, text matches, text match count. So we'll hold text match count there, and we never touch anything that's in that range. Again, that is what I call that already. Text match count. Say n text matches. Right, so when hitting a Pi module, we need to fix this to be, well, this is less than pop the latest Pi module match count, get the new scan, update the match count to be the original, the current length minus the original and text matches. And that is how we'll be basically restoring the match list indices via the popping. Okay, so the indices that we need to look at when dealing with the capture, this can go away. That's what we're doing now. So basically we have the case where latest Pi module match counts doesn't equal 0, and where it does. In the case where it's 0, then we're most likely dealing with, well, we could actually look at the extract target. You could check that it's equal to text, so basically I would be doing just checking that their pointers are not the same. If they are the same, i.e. we're looking at text, then use text matches, otherwise use this guy here. So if the latest extract target does not equal, just do a pointer comparison. I don't know if there's like a built-in for that. I'm gonna check actually. Actually over here. I'm just going to do a strict comparison and see if, just like a straight up, like, does this pointer equal this pointer? I think that's a valid thing that I can do, and if that yells at me, maybe I can cast it to an int and then do a comparison that way. But I think you can just compare the pointers. Yeah, so if our latest extraction target is equal to text.pointer, then we're dealing with match list items. From 0. And we can still operate. Yeah. This is going to be better. So basically, our current match list is what we'll be operating on. So here are our matches, our match slice. It's like a relevant match slice, so we'll say relevant match slice. Relevant matches. Is going to be a slice of match array. Slice and match. There we go. For now, it's undefined. In the case where we're dealing with text, this is how we resolve that. We say relative matches is going to be equal to our match list items from 0 up to the original end text matches. Otherwise, we're most likely dealing with the Python module text that was outputted. So relative matches, and what am I doing? This needs to be var. Otherwise, it's going to be equivalent to match list items from end text matches up to end text matches plus our new latest PyModule match count. Just like that. Grab the whole slice. So 0 to end text matches, otherwise deal with end text matches to end text matches plus latest PyModule count. And then the matches that we're iterating over are actually relative matches. So basically create a view over the things that we're concerned with, deal with them, and then everything should be great. Let me try building and seeing what happens. That doesn't have a type. Alright, it looks like we're compiling. I need to tell this application where the library is for Protex. So relatively, it's up a directory and inside of lib. If I go ahead and run start, I need to specify a few things. First, I need to create an extractor. This extractor is named potato. Dealing with that, and maybe we're interested in qualifications. And we define a capture qualifications. We then go over here and say pass that to script, and we'll test if this is working correctly. So press the run button, and indeed we get 0 to 14 qualifications. Is that correct? I don't think that's correct. 0 to 14. So the last thing that I ran was... Oh wait, that is correct, because the last thing we fed to this was a script, which is just returning starting and ending indices. So this is actually 0 to 14. Because it's just the text length, actually, which makes sense. If I remove it, I get the actual position in the text, 41 to 55. And if I test with a script, and then ask for a capture within a script, so this gets expanded to qualifications plus like some other garbage. We have a script, which is hopefully doing some some more things other than just passing through what it was passed in. Then we have a capture, a subcapture, on the output of the script, and maybe it's looking for work auth. And so if we find work auth, then capture that within the script. Go ahead and run that. So that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, because that's looking at qualifications. 53 to 62. And this is capturing qualifications. So that will be 0 to the close or opening bracket, opening brace, parenthesis. Into work authorization, into a script, which passes through the text that's being highlighted currently. Work auth has position 53 to 62, I guess, within this. If this was just looking for qualifications, which I could make it just look for qualifications at an offset 0, it should give me 0 to whatever the length of the word qualifications is, which it does. And if I ask for space qualifications, I can verify that this is working. Space qual. Actually, that's not gonna work. How about space restaurant? And then that's what this is. How does that work? 18 to 23, which looks accurate, so I'm going to count this as a win and say that this is done for now. Where's my code? Is that over there? And I will say that this is looking good for now. Where is... I'm deciding if I want to add some comments or not to... does this make sense, just like reading through it? We say, here are our relative matches. These are like the matches that we care about. Maybe there's a better name for this. We can create a match view. Maybe that's better. Match view. So our match view is either 0 to n text matches, which that makes sense from looking at this. Otherwise, it's from there to the latest PyModule match count. And does this code, if this is the last op index, then we're in the matches. Yep. Otherwise, we're saying how many items do you need to pop that many items, do the scan, record the new count. That's pretty straightforward, nice and simple code. And this bit of code makes sense as well. So let me commit this. So this is finish operation. Finish the initial operation queue operation notation in extractor. So within extractor. Say in extractor land. Alright, so that is done. Now I need to take a look at what else needs to kind of happen and what is the most important thing for me to do now. So we have this visual scripting system implemented where you can drag things and basically generate a configuration and run that, and gets passed to the packager, and now the extractor is actually working with the binary artifact that's the packager generated, which is great. So what's kind of like irking me now, basically, is the question. I think it's kind of annoying that I can't import anything. So I think that would be a good place to start. Another thing, so just like off the top of my head, some of the features that I was thinking about adding is right now this kind of area down here where you can view the operation boxes. It would be nice to be able to scroll, because again, this area is kind of constrained and small. So like, what if middle clicking allowed you to kind of drag around here, and this was actually just a huge area, and this is just the current like window that you're looking at. That's another option, and that could be kind of cool. Option C is start looking at how can we make the different views here, the different windows, dockable, draggable, toggleable, whatever you want, draggable. How can we resize these and make this configurable to a user? So those are the things that I'm looking at, and I can't remember if I had anything else off the top of my head. And then I'm also looking at what are the other operations that we can add to operation boxes. Because currently right now you just can specify a script or like a regex pattern with an offset of where to extract from. That just failed. Why'd that fail? Oh. Oh, rest doesn't exist. Try that again. Vim app source, I got that backwards. So, all right, I've been putting this off. Let's deal with the imports, getting imports working again. The issue with imports is I want to replicate the current view. So given some configuration file located somewhere, we need to just read in that configuration file and then recreate this like box state, essentially, these op boxes. We need to recreate them exactly how we see them here, and it should actually be pretty straightforward. I don't think it'll be as big of a pain as I'm imagining in my head, and everything should be good there. Where... So let's start with that, I guess. Where is the... we currently export a config whenever we press the run button, so having like an export button would actually be pretty trivial as well. So I should add a... Is there a standard for like having a to-do.txt? Is it to-dos? I'm gonna say to-do.txt. So we want to add a export button. Export button. A draggable operation box editing area. Visual scripting area. That's probably the best way to say it. What was the other thing I said? I'm working on importing a config right now, and I had one other thing. Whatever, I should remember it later. I'll come back and fix it. Sadly, my changelog is very lacking for this commit. This version 0.5. The last actual poll was in 16th, so it's been over. Oh, it's been exactly a month since I last merged a minor version. But this is a good. There's been a lot of work on this version, so I'm not too mad about it. I'm just mad that the changelog doesn't reflect all the work that's been done. What's this? Oh, that's another feature that I want. Draggable visual scripting area. I want to have basically different colored highlighting. Colored highlighting for i.e. show me captures within captures. So if I'm dealing with this guy here, and then I would also like to see the output of script. That would be really cool. So what is this actually outputting? And then display that here. And then here, like this is within the output of this. So display the output of this guy here. Really this is the output of this, since this is just getting passed. So what is this guy? So this here, and then maybe this is like blue or whatever. Like this is white, this is blue. I don't know, I feel like that could be cool, and it should add a lot to how you create subcaptures, I guess is what you could call them. But yeah, really I'm just procrastinating writing the import code, so I'm gonna go and do that now. Where's my import button? Alright, get to the first file, I see. So we get a file, it's got some data, we read the data, and the first thing we do is, what exactly? So this doesn't exist anymore, this is just extractors. For each extractor definition of our extractors, if extractor definition index is 0, I see, so we're loading the first extractor, we're saying the first extractor is the thing that we're going to display. Otherwise, we're pushing it onto otherwise we're pushing it onto our virtualized extractors list. s.extractors.push. Yeah. So we're just pushing it onto state. And why am I not recording? Why am I not recording this here as well? Like, why is state not receiving the extractor? I assume that's because I differentiate between something that's saved and something that's currently being edited. So the thing that's currently being edited doesn't necessarily need to be saved yet, because we derive whatever is actively selected, basically dynamically, whatever the current DOM structure looks like, just turn that into something that looks like this. Turn that into this, essentially. So, okay, fair enough. We're saying operation queues, we slice its operation queues, we slice its patterns. Okay, so I need to store some extra data, unfortunately. So I guess I could start by, whenever I export a configuration, I need to export all the operation box metadata as well. So where am I doing that from? Export or gen.json config is where I should be doing that from. So this goes, and what is this guy doing? There we go. Is this correctly indented? No, it is. This is kind of a gross color scheme. Where's my dim red? Oh wait, that's not very good. This is color scheme roulette. Never seen this one before. This is really red. Eximax? Ooh. The color schemes are such a waste of time. So I want to record the state of the category container. I need to change the name of that because it's no longer a category container. I'm going to do that right now. So I need to refactor this to be not a category container, but a operation, a visual scripting. So maybe VS editing area, VS container, visual scripting container. Like, you just say visual scripting container. So operation editing container, say visual scripting container. And let's make sure everything works. I need to modify this guy. And builds. I need to refresh it. See, here's where the import would be useful. I could press this button, websconf.json, I have all my boxes back. I pressed import by accident. Potato. I can add boxes, I think. I can drag boxes, I can drag lines. And it looks like they're translating. They're not translating. Oh, wait, what? That was super weird. The line like broke for a sec. Guess that's a bug that I will need to fix. Wait, have I tested multiple connections to one box? I don't know that I actually... I think this just generates multiple operation queues, is what you end up with. If you have multiple captures pointing to... Let's say this just passes to a script. If you have multiple captures, so this is qualifications and benefits. So if you have multiple things leading in here, what happens on pressing run? You should get multiple outputs. Yeah, nice. I don't think I ever tested that, but it worked first try, so that's cool. That is really cool. I'm very happy that that was working. So, multiple operation queues. What happens if we then, like, pipe this out to yet another capture? Maybe another script? Like, what happens if this ends up on a script? Or, let's try the potato script. This is a script. Potatoes. So this gets fed into potatoes. And potatoes just checks if you had if text from start of to end of is equivalent to a qualification string, then we are returning true. Very naive script. Otherwise, returning false. Let me save this. We wrote potatoes.py, press the run button. This received false, and this also received false. That is because I didn't normalize the match. I could either normalize it, or I could be really stupid and require a capital Q. That is still returning, why? Is there a space there? Wait, what? That's interesting. So I'm just getting nothing out. Oh. So benefits and qualifications. What is happening here? It's not finding anything. So after running another script, Protex.zig, what happens after we run a script? So after hitting a apply module, we say what was the latest extract target. It was whatever we just copied into our senpai run buff. So that becomes our latest extract target. This is the final operation in the op queue. So set latest match equal to whatever senpai run buff returned. Otherwise, empty the... Otherwise, you know, do match list stuff. Wait. What happens in the case where I just have one... Oops. Okay, so we're still getting this behavior. So where it's just a script though, we get stuff. But if we pass it to potato, which potato is returning start of to end of, I think. Let me save it. Still getting 0, 0. So we should be dealing with op. Op index is not 0. We have n bytes copied. Let me, for each of these, let me print out the latest extract target. Just another debug.print. And this will be our latest extract target. Oh, is this what's going on? Because... So the first run through, we have a capture. That exists. So where was the last capture? Latest match, start of and end of. And that's what gets fed to the first script, but the second script is... The second script is also being fed latest match, right? So pass me this, but after you're done, I think I just need to update latest match. Right, because latest match is always now becoming the output of operation of a script. So if we're not dealing with the last, i.e. we don't have to deal with matches anymore. Wait, do I always need to clean this? Because, no, I don't need to clean it. Wait, I do need to clean it because we go to the next operation queue. in the case of a capture, if a capture precedes a precedes a pi module, we're going to use that, unless it's the case that this is the first pi module, which makes sense. Once we're done, that match is now irrelevant, so always set it to be always update this guy. Always update to the latest match, and do I only need to do this once? Like, if I have latest match, can I just... Garbage ID is still 1, 2, 3, whatever. I guess I can do this. That gets garbage ID back. So update latest extract target to be the entire buffer. We update latest match to be started to end of. And then of course I also update match list. Hello, that your fan, how are you? It's time to zig build. Alright, and just waiting for everything to explode. Qualifications, let's capture. We're feeding this into a script and expecting that we can also pass this to another script. This is the potato script, which is doing the exact same thing as a script, or should be doing the exact same thing. It's doing mostly the same thing. Press the run button, and we got qualifications spat out, which is exactly what we wanted. So now I'm going to test this being a different script, just for my own happiness. Press the save button. So if we find qualifications, then that is still false. Why? It definitely found something. Like, look at these indices, 0 to 5. I have no idea if I can call print in here. Definitely can. I just spelled qualifications wrong, that might be what happened. Oh yeah, that's exactly what was wrong. So, now testing this with the entire point of this is if I have another string that I'm concerned with. So this is like a filter. We're pretending this is like, this is doing maybe some normalization on the text, and then we finally chain it to this guy over here, so we can have a capture. This guy is looking for, let's say, benefits. So go grab benefits as well. This guy. benefits. This gets dragged over here. I press the run button. We should get 2 paths being traced. So the first path is the qualifications path, and of course it then finally reaches here. We see that it's true. Otherwise, we say benefits, and that is false because it doesn't equal qualifications. So cool. That makes me happy. I think I'm done in protex.sig. Maybe. Right. Now that that bug was fixed, visual scripting container is now named properly. I can work on caching basically the God, this nonsense. I can work on caching these guys here. So yeah, it's fun to build your app in Electron until it's not. And then we have toolbar container. Where is... I have an SVG container sitting somewhere. Oh, so that exists inside of the visual scripting container. Okay, and so this has got all of our lines, which we need to somehow save and somehow restore properly. So we know that our draggable containers have... Basically, our draggable containers have indices which point to which line they're responsible for. So what I'll need to do is kind of virtualize a nub. I'm calling these little connections here nubs. So if I have a right nub, then I'll need to record, well, a nub. It can be a right nub or a left nub. It doesn't matter. What are its line indices that it cares about? If you're a right nub, you only have one line indice ever. If you're a left nub, you can have multiple line indices, and I need to enforce that. That is another to-do. Enforce, basically scripting. Enforce visual scripting structure. Line structure. Connection structure. These boxes are kind of ugly too. I'd like to make this whole thing prettier, but it's another to-do. I believe the term is juice. I need to juice my app. Alright, so let me dive into one of these. Actually, I can't because this is just a... If I look at the right connector, I need to grab... this guy. I should have stored a line indices property. Alright, so this first draggable container had a draggable container connector right and a draggable container left. It had line indices, it had a line indices array, and that was pointing to this guy here. So I need to have, this should actually be not too horrible, because these guys should also store a, draggable container should also store a, yeah, so it has a left and a top. Nice. I can cache these. So for each draggable container, I need to go cache left and top. And then for the left and right connectors of each of those draggable containers, I need to then go ahead and cache which line indices they were pointing at. And then of course I also need to cache the line indices themselves. Or not the line indices, the SVG lines. Their X1, their Y1, their X2, their Y2. Alright, so I guess I'll start with looking at all the draggable containers. And yes, that is should be inside of gen.json config, because we need to store it somehow. So right now we're looking at each extractors, visual scripting container, we get all of the op boxes. So it looks like we're already looking at all of the op boxes. I don't know where to put a space. How about there? How about here? Just like this. That looks better. So for each one of my op boxes, I'm building an operation queue. But I also need to grab some other stuff off of this. So I need to handle getting top and left offsets and sticking that somewhere. So in terms of my JSON objects, where does this need to go? Where does this need to live? And right now I'm just, how do I stringify this? I stringify just the extractors. Okay. And what does extractors look like? That is an array of extractor def. And if I look at app source, something includes, Protex include, .ts. I can find extra def. So this has operation queues, and that is an op. An op has a type and some data. I don't think I want to mix that, so box layout, box position. So let's see, like HTML stuff. These are like the element stuff. This is GUI specific. GUI only data. And I was already moving in this direction with something like an HTML op box, which just enforces that the thing has a left nub and a right nub. And this hasn't been actually implemented, but I could do that. Let me do it now, or else I will cry. So I can get rid of this to do, because I'm doing it. So whenever I use an op box, where am I using an op box? This is an HTML collection of elements. Wonderful. Who calls operation from leaf? Gen.json config, I presume. Should I type the whole thing out? Yeah. And how do you get op boxes? This is just getting elements by class name, da 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 da. And so I need to turn these into HTML nubs, or HTML op boxes. For opbox as a HTML opbox. Is that how that works? I think that's how that works. What did I do? It all started with that. Everything fell apart from there. Was it the prince? What if I make this a... I want to go from a collection to an array, so I could treat this as an HTML collection, right? So this is how this is getting treated. As an HTML collection of an HTML opbox. Does that work? Assume this works. So now for each opbox, I should get complaints about me not passing the right type now. Oh, also, I need to retrieve it. HTML collection is not generic. Can I turn an HTML collection into an array? Can I do that? Can you slice an HTML array collection? Can you turn an HTML collection? There it was. No. Wait, seriously? Oh, that's nice. We'll do that. So I can say... So build an array from all those draggable containers, and for each opbox of opboxes, right now this is an array presumably of HTML collection, but now since it's no longer an HTML collection, I can treat this as an array of HTML nub or HTML opbox array. Way over my allotted 100 columns. That's done. That might put me over, actually. So whatever, that's fine. Hey, it did work. So that's what I was expecting earlier. So if we get, again, let me just close this guy. I think putting it in another tab would be actually the best thing to do. This guy. operation queue from Leaf. This is an array. Well, that was easy. Oh, I'm casting this to an element? What? Current oddbox. Do I need to cast it anymore? Oddbox from right line index. This now returns a... why was this returning undefined? Because there's a case where left line index does not... It didn't find a left line... It didn't find a corresponding right line index. Or left line index, sorry. I guess is fine. But maybe it should just always return the thing, and... Let me do this. Always return an HTML outbox, but we'll just throw, and then... So we have a target outbox. Here's our results. Let results. To a declaration of HTML outbox. And we're always returning the results. So if we didn't find a right line index, where's box? Here is our box. Result is equal to box. Return results. And we found the thing. It's null. Was it null or undefined? I can't remember. It's either an HTML outbox or null, so it's like an optional results. We just want to assert that results does not equal null. So check that you got a result, and if not, then just assert false, basically. Assert that it's not null, and then print a nice error message about why this should be working. Box from right line index. And I no longer need to cast this as an element because you get an outbox for sure. I should also fix this. think it's mad that I didn't cast this back to the thing. Where is... Return this as... That isn't basically optional. Also break, because we're done. So back in gen.json config, these are now op boxes. I can drive nubs from container. This returns, oh, it's already returning nubs, but this, we can now enforce that this is an HTML hotbox. So container is no longer, this is simply a box. Draggable container connector left as HTML nub. Yes. Except now next one. This just exists as a left and right HTML element. Okay, so this is no longer I should just be able to say box dot left nub, right? And then we have places where we are passing elements where it should be an op box on line 72. Current op box is leaf op box. Leaf op box needs to be an HTML op box. And operation Q from leaf should be passing the correct op box, which it is. Line 151. Close enough. What is box? Box is... What is op boxes in this case? Let's make this a function. Say all boxes from DOM. So it needs to get the visual scripting container, which I don't think anyone else needs in this function. Elements. Yes. What are we making draggable? We're making... Generally it's a box that we're making draggable, I think. Because I differentiate between a draggable container and a draggable line. Okay, whatever. The draggable container needs to be an op box, like, all the time. This is where we can create the draggable container. We append the draggable container. And this is where I will be slapping right and left. So, pending child. Do I still need to mimic that? Like, because it's got a right and a left nub property. I guess that is going to be... All this really needs to do is just model... Like, this is holding line indices. I don't think this can hold these, actually. Or can it? That's like saying I have an element with a property of another element. Does that actually display in the DOM? I don't think so. So where was my... This guy here. I was just getting the connector left and connector right. Because I know it's a child. I think this is the way I'm gonna have to do it. Left node, right. So that no longer has that property, and I don't think I used that anywhere other than here, which is good. So those go away. But this is really just an alias for an HTML element, but I want to enforce that it's an opbox. But now it is useful because I need to also start recording its left and right, its top and left properties. This top, it just has, right now it has, oh, it's just a style property, but I can still slap that on there. So offset left, offset top is what I'll record here. So offset left and offset top, both properties of an HTML opbox. And where was I creating? Wherever make draggable was called is where we're actually instantiating the opbox. So this is no longer a draggable container, this is an opbox. So opbox is what we're creating. Opbox.className, draggable container, pending opbox, opbox header, opbox header, opbox.append, opbox header. Opbox is getting its right nub, left nub. We make the entire thing draggable. On right click, we are removing the elements. Contents, sure. Container contents. So this is actually build from existing obstruct. Okay. Yes, I guess I do need to do that at some point when importing, but first I need to again get the stuff recorded. So currently I'm updating the, when I make something draggable, this element, this is always a, this is like registering, it's generic in the way that like you can make anything draggable and it's just modifying the style, but for now I can do this. Wait, no, I can't for now do this because make draggable needs to modify elements. Basically I'm modifying style for top and right. Right, so instead I need to say this is really not box. If I need to make a more, if I need to make other things draggable like containers, I guess I'll need to kind of re-implement this, or not most of it, but I need to re-implement a piece of it if I decide to make this draggable. I'm opbox specific. Make draggable opbox really is what this is. So with the make draggable, and I guess it's just sitting in here, so yeah, that's okay. And then we need to replace elements with opbox. It's no longer an HTML element. This is a so visual scripting container. I guess we grab that SVG category mask. Grab that container header from the op box, and it's not really the container header. I guess it is the container header, but it's the box header. Container with box. Just those two places. Box header. So we make a draggable operation box. So now we also, where else do I modify it? Just those two places? Yeah. So not only do I set its style, well, when saving, I just need to record the style. I don't need to update it live. That'd be dumb. Yeah, so inside of gen.json config, when we're genning our config, make sure to save the top and left offset. So for this box, opbox.style dot what was it? Style.left and style.top. And we're gonna treat these both as numbers. Wait, oh my gosh, these are pixels. I need to strip pixel off of the top of these. So this will be hacky, but from 0, I need to splice it from 0 to the length minus 2. Okay. And I need to also assert that style left was not defined. Not set. So it is defined, it's just not given a value. Say not assigned. We need to check style rights is assigned. And we're splicing from... Does splice have some cool, like, negative syntax? That should take me to MDN, hopefully. Splice. I want to know about splice on a string. I think I'm after substring, not splice. I was after slice, so... I need to rid, I'm just calling it rid, of the pixel suffix. And we will attempt to convert this to a number. And we set opbox dot offset left. And then we'll pause here to make sure that it's working. Changed so many things I wouldn't be surprised if I've broken the visual scripting area. This is still mad 368. It's angry because opbox is not actually an opbox, it's a it is a div. Can I make this an HTML div element, actually? Yeah. Wait, do I want it to be a div element? I think I do want it to be a div element, so what I'm wondering here is if I have app source, well, if I have my include file, just extend a kind of like that instead, because it's a container. That makes sense. And instead of creating a div, well, what are the cons to doing this though? Okay, I don't know the consequences of making that, but I want to have a function for basically DOM make opbox. Make an HTML. Did the music finally finish? Did. Let's try this one. Make an HTML opbox, and this is simply so take anything, HTML opbox. It's actually just doing this. Well, and this, I guess. So go ahead and define an HTML opbox. We're asking for the visual scripting container, appending the opbox. Assign a class name, add it to the DOM. I actually need to do all this stuff. Like, I don't see a world where I'm calling this up anywhere other than inside of make opbox. Such a chunky function. So HTML outbox. This is all just to make the distinction between what is a virtualized outbox versus what is an HTML DOM element. So I guess I can stick to the convention of having HTML prefix. I can have an HTML prefix for things that are DOM elements, basically. DOM outbox. That might be better, actually. HTML's fine. It gets the same point across. It's just one more character, though. That's the thing. And DOM sounds cooler. So as those two things going for it. Yes, remove outbox by clicking on it, make it draggable. What do you mean offset? I like HTML outbox. Offset left, offset top. I say offset right. And it's angry because I'm slicing -2. Is that doing that in place? I don't think so. Create elements div as HTML outbox. Oh, maybe I do, so wherever we create it at, I need to have HTML auth box, again, get defined first. Well, I can't have it be defined first. I'm casting this div to an HTML auth box, but that doesn't contain an offset left or an offset right property. I'm assigning those properties to it. But I have to do it like this, where I say you are an object, your shape looks like this. I can do it the old-fashioned way too. And now it's fine. And then I just set its right and left offset to be equal to when I go and use HTML box offset left and offset right, does it just break though because it's not initialized? Because I think I'm just not thinking about this in the TypeScript way of thinking about it. Okay, so things are building again. What is broken? I would be very surprised if nothing is broken. I'd be very happy if nothing is broken. I just lost my kettle off my desk. Does it only get assigned when I move it? Style right was not defined. Right, because what actually... Wait, style right should be defined. Should have a right and a top, right? No, it should have a top and a left. Of course style right's not going to be defined. I just saw left and I just went in there and said, yeah, this is gonna be, this is left, this is right. Yeah, no. Now, go ahead and refresh. We are recording a capture on this, I guess. Whoa. So I hit my debugger. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, this was not doing at all what I expected it to do. That's doing what I expected it to do. I agree that pixels is not a number. Alright, so we're now recording top and left offsets, which is exactly what I want. Now what else do I need to... I need to somehow... How... We know line indices from... What exactly? Anything? I don't think I care about... The extractor struct doesn't care about that sort of thing at all. It cares about an operation queue, which is an op, which doesn't have any sort of indice thing. We have HTML nub, which is line indices, so we need to have some sort of struct for basically a position, essentially. Opbox positions. An opbox position that has... So we're just gonna copy over the offset left and offset top from the HTML opbox. Offset left is for sure a number. We have offset top. And what else do we want to restore about positions? Like, this is really just like a restore. This is like a cache for opbox position. Cached opbox. Cached opbox position data or whatever. With cached opbox position. So the cached opbox position has those two things. It also needs to care about the really, what is this used for? This is used for importing and exporting, so how do I communicate that? Is this opbox save info? That might make sense. So basically, opbox save info also needs to care about... It doesn't need an HTML nub per se. It does need these. So we need to cache left and right nub indices. And we need to cache line. And this is just an array of we have SVG line position. Is made up of x1, y1, x2, y2, and that's it. So that's an SVG line. The save info is just actually just an array of SVG line positions. And finally, this has... Are these two things stored separately? They would be stored separately. This would be A, and then this we would have an array of opbox save info. We have an array of these as well. Well, no, I don't. I just have these. If I do it like this, though, this is really just opbox position, but the line indices don't fit into that name, right? So we just create this is just singular opbox save info, unfortunately. So what is box specific? This is box specific. Let's make this just one line. So just like that. And we are instantiating opbox save info. And in this case, I don't need to record this anymore. I don't need to do that anymore either because their shape is exactly the same. And now I'm just creating a box save info at this point. And save info I'll need to include that in the file. At some point I'll need to include the line as well. Box save info, we're going to define that. We're asserting that this style exists, and we're writing to box info, box save info, offset left. Offset top. What else does it need? It needs right, left nub line indices. And we're also going to grab this. Now that is useful as well. That's pretty cool. So save info, write the line indices becomes this, and I need to splice these because we're just copying them. And then save info all of a sudden has everything it needs, I think. We also need to grab SVG save info. So we're writing opbox save info as opboxes save info. So that is also up here. And that is getting assigned to a extractor, so I can load it. So I don't have to write it like this. That just gets written. So extractors have, this has some sort of state only. GUI only data, yes. Has save info. Hello, Two, stop. I think that's how you say your name. It is not in GitHub. This project is a proprietary piece of software that I'm working on, and it is a programmable text extractor. So the idea is like you can create like visual scripting components like you would see in a game engine, and then like operate on text. You can also write scripts to operate on the data. And in about 2 sentences, that is the gist of it. I might open source the project though, we'll see. Depending on success. Sort of. Basically, it's an Electron app, so yes, the actual extractor and the backend systems that run the everything under the hood are all built in Zig, and the actual just GUI code is built in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, so Electron. I went with Electron to kind of just prototype the thing. Depending on my motivation levels, I might rewrite it in native Zig, and then you have a lightning fast GUI that has minimal dependencies. Electron definitely doesn't have minimal dependencies, so. Save info. Save info has Zig is right. Zig is, so under the hood, this is just all this web app is doing is generating a JSON config, and it looks something like this. Let's look at websconf.json, and I need to make it pretty. Oh, it's empty right now. Well, that makes sense. The GUI just generates a configuration file. Let me make a valid config here. I didn't mean to run. I meant to. Oh, it did save. I didn't mean to run. So if I cat this into my clipboard. And then find a nice little JSON formatter. Give me 4 spaces. That doesn't look like a valid configuration file. What does it actually look like? Oh, that's why it wasn't generating. This is something I need to fix. I need to give it a extractor to save under. Try doing this again. One more time. Right, so the GUI is responsible for generating just a JSON config that looks something like this. This gets fed into a Zig program, which packages this and turns it into a binary artifact that's the extractor, so like the text extractor API, which is also written in Zig, can understand. And the text extractor is designed to be super fast and run at scale. So basically, now that you've serialized all of this data, so it understands how to turn a script into Python source code. It understands how to which pattern to grab. Basically, it uses a pattern matching engine under the hood. So it serializes all that stuff, passes it to the classifier, and now you have extractor classifier, whatever. Now you have a program and you have an artifact sitting around. So imagine like you're a data company. Basically, you just pass this thing all your documents. Like, let's say you have thousands of documents, you can basically call into this Zig program. It exports a CABI, as Zig does. And you can run thousands of documents through it just by passing the same artifact. Or you can generate multiple artifacts and then like pragmatically choose which artifact to run. And again, all of these are being configured from this GUI once by hopefully just an average Joe, right? So I was grabbing Opbox save info. Yeah, of course. I need to get better at actually describing it. I feel like that was a lot more information than was actually needed, but yeah, I'm excited to be working on it. It's fun, so. Yeah, if I do decide to port this to a Zig GUI, I should probably make that decision sooner or later because the amount of TypeScript that I'm writing is kind of exploding, so yeah. So I no longer need to instantiate box save info because we now have this guy, opbox's save info, belonging to this is now opbox's save info at opbox index. So this is now, if I call entries, this can give me opbox, and I can have another example of where entries is because I can't remember if the index or the data comes first. It's index first. So for each one of those, I can ask for entries, and then I can say, opbox at that is not what I need. Wait, is that what I need? That's exactly what I need. I can say extra def extra def dot box save info at the current opbox index. Dot offset left. So that. I need to append some new save info. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Is it push? I think it's push. I swear I'm pushing elsewhere. Yeah, right there. Push the save info. Save info.push. This is now the opbox save info. And we're defining a new some save info, box save info. And then push box save info. I need to also grab the lines at some point. So those belong here. SVG line save info. And we're doing this for each box. I don't need to iterate over each box. I need to iterate over just SVG lines, which am I doing that at some point? I don't think so. So I can get my SVG lines from this. This can be a HTML collection, that's fine. Get elements by class name. I'm interested in the SVG container. Where are all my lines? I should rename this to SVG lines. Or at least give the lines a class name of lines so that when I filter I can just get lines. Or better yet, have some sort of structure for the lines within the SVG container. Might be better as well. So what exactly... I can just iterate over this. And that's going to happen... What's I doing with this? Hotboxes. SVG category mask is this. We're gonna look at all of its children. For line elements. Of this guy. Of the SVG category mask, we're gonna say writes out. We're pushing to the actual. This is what I'm writing to. Writing to SVG line save info. Go ahead and push operation queues there. And how many places do I get all boxes? Oh, I've already made this a function. Perfect. So get all the op boxes from the DOM. And we're looking at building up operation queues. The visual scripting container inside of GenJSON config. It looks like it just appears there, so I can nuke it, which is excellent. Because I can get all of the alt boxes from there. We're creating an operation queues. We're pushing on operation queues. Let's also be explicit about what else we're building up, which is alt boxes save info. initialize it. And we'll push that on as well. So push those two things on. And don't push here. Well, push onto this. So declare box save info, build up box save info, push box save onto boxes save info. Finally, copy everything out of that into its destination here. Do the same for operation queues, and do that in the same order that they were built up. That's pretty explicit there. And then we're also building up operation queue stuff. Nice. And now, lines. Do the same thing. It's just line save info. No, it's SVG lines. And of course, this. Using define in places where I should be using declare. This should be line elements. This properties x1, y1, x2, y2. These are attributes. I don't need to cache category mask. What other line information do I actually care about? I think I'm gonna ditch save info and just say these are line positions. And say this is SVG line save info is simply Is the info suffix necessary? I don't think so. So ditch info in favor of just having save line. And this is actually just I could prefix with this with HTML too, which might make sense. But that would break the convention of being able to use HTML elements like this. I guess I'm breaking the convention with SVG, but I don't have an SVG convention, so I can break it. Because it's not a convention. Thus I'm not breaking anything. Outbox save, SVG line, position save. This is SVG line pauses save. Relevant, irrelevant. Let's say important. Isn't important to the packager. I'm gonna say required. Is a GUI specific. I guess GUI specific data kind of, you know, implies that it isn't required by the packager. So GUI specific data. Nice. So GUI specific data. Again, I can just drop the info. This is just info. This is save. This is SVG line position save. Line position save. Gets all those. Slap it onto SVG line. Pauses save. Link. Whoops. Just lowercase everything. Go ahead and push the new SVG line position. Finally slice. Is it slice or splice? Splice. Do I have save info? And does, by definition, including extradef, also export these data types? I don't know. Alright, all that looks good to me. So, in theory, I'm now serializing everything. Push all those on, splice everything out. After doing this, let's try it. Oops. Oops, gotcha. I think it's just dot children. Uh, 822. this. Sweet G line save. What is the problem? Expected, comma. Protex state should have an extractor def array, which it does. Oh, I know what's going on. Nice. So with this, I should be able to pump this out real quick. ASDF, this, qualifications. Oops. Please drag a line, there we go. Scripts. Now, once I press the run button, I should hit the debugger statement, and I should be able to evaluate the contents of extradef. Oh, extractors. So it has SVG line positions. It only has the one line, which makes sense. So all of its data. It has all boxes to save, so it has offset left, offset top, and then it records also the line indices. And in this case, the first top box to save has an offset left of 56, offset top of 93. The second one has an offset left of 271, so this guy over here, offset top of 68. This one has no right nub indices. This guy has line 0, and we should see left nub line indices 0. Looks like everything's saving properly, or serializing properly. If I just press the run button and I actually get output, which is great. And then if I go ahead and run that into clip again, we should be able to see the wonderful, and by wonderful I mean very verbose JSON object. I should wrap this in like a save data, I think. So I have like a save data. If I get one more struct, I think I will. I mean, why though? Like, I guess that would be so I don't have to prefix everything with save. Kind of nice and contained in one spot. Try generating with another line. Oh god, what just broke? Now that the save data is actually exporting, it's time to deal with importing it. So when I go and import the JSON data, JSON config, I am adding a category, which this function does no longer exist. This does no longer exist. The joys of running a scripting language. This just, I kept building and, you know, this was never touched. This line of code was never touched, so nobody ever complained. Add extractor. An add extractor was simply pushing on to exters. Wait. Oh, I see. Add extractor is really just adding a selection option. So I guess I just do this step regardless first, right? Yeah, I do this step always. So no need for this else statement. First things first, you push onto it, and you can then, instead of calling add extractor, I call add extractor select option in the case where I nuked that if statement prematurely. If you're dealing with that, then you get to do this. So add a select option. I can remove this else block. We are slicing. Why did I just write patterns like a brain dead person? Extra def ..slice 0. Alt box is save. SVG line positions is save. Just like that. And that is what we are iterating over. We're pushing that onto Protex state extractors, so it's like our virtualized stuff. If the index is 0, then it's DOM time. If this then represents this in GUI, add extractor select option. Why am I not adding options for all of them? Doesn't that make sense? Oh. Wait, no, that's the add extract option. Wait, what? I'm so confused. Comment sequence. Hopefully I can get rid of this, because I think it's just unnecessary. So I only add the select option if we're dealing with index 0, otherwise I was just doing this. So really this doesn't change anything. So I assume everything is still fine. This is adding categories, so yes, this is where I will be adding operation boxes. So this is where I restore all the operation boxes. This is where I add patterns. Okay, that's cool. So do that first, actually. It's more straightforward. Obviously, it's just 2 lines of code, pretty much. And for operation, I actually need to do 3 things. This, and the SVG lines. Where else am I adding extractor? There. And that is where. This is on a init? No, what function is this on? so I will need to pass everything. For now, I'm just leaving that alone. So this is on imports. Is this an array? Pretty sure that's an array. Hi, I'm working on a programmable text extractor. The idea being taking inspiration from game engines where they have like this visual scripting system. I thought it would be cool if I kind of brought something like that to the data engineering world where they deal a lot with NLP type stuff. So having something to like quickly and visually build a text classifier with seems like a really useful thing. So that's what this is. Right now, I just finished earlier in the stream. I just finished up some of my Zig classifier code. Right now, I'm touching up the GUI, and so what I'm working for is basically right now you can export configurations, and you can sort of import them, but I'm trying to restore the state of the visual components down here. So right now I've kind of built out all the code to cache all the positions seen here, and now I just need to finish up restoring them. So that's what this is. So for each of those indices, still using that. I just needed to check if we're dealing with the first one. This is adding the pattern. This is the operation box. Probably around 4 hours. I think I've been programming since 9 o'clock this morning, roughly. So 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's been about 3.5 hours. I'm starting to get tired. Probably just another half an hour, honestly. Four hours is about all I can do. I'm trying to work on like getting that up, but I think taking breaks would help me out a lot with just extending amount of code written per day. So I haven't mastered the nap yet, but I've heard that's a good way to kind of restore yourself. And then I know regular exercise in between coding sessions can be helpful as well. But so make box. I have a make box function. and I need to pass script names, which feels unnecessary. I don't know why I designed it that way. I've tried Pomodoro, and I think it works really well. Yeah, especially if you can nail spinning up again, because I know one of the blockers for me with the Pomodoro stuff was actually just like the cost of starting back up again. So like work for whatever X amount of minutes, and then when you sit back down, it takes you like at least it took me 5 to 10 minutes to kind of get back into it. So maybe that comes with just practicing. I really never stuck with it. I probably tried it for like a week, and then just kind of started feeling it out and pushing like how long I could go for. And I'm not claiming that the 4 hours that I get is all productive. 7 after 5-minute breaks. How do you mean? Oh, even after 5 minute breaks. Yeah. Isn't the technique like, I think it went 5 5 5 5 5 15 or something. That's how I did it. And the cost wasn't too bad for those. And I guess the point is to give your brain a break after the longer rest. So yeah, the 4 hours that I get out of programming, though, I definitely start to fall off after the first 2, for sure. Also, I need to program in the mornings. Like, if I don't start in the morning, my productivity is way worse in the afternoon for some reason, so that's pretty interesting. I need to find some more articles on, like, programming productivity stuff, because it's pretty interesting stuff. I knew this function wanted an op. I just didn't know what kind of op it was. This is an operations save, so this is an op save. Some sort of op save data. Op box save. Yeah. Yeah, I think the programming industry, like, just from a corporate standpoint, has got it. Yeah, exactly. Pretty classic, like, where like they push their developers 8 hours, and they're expecting to get 8 hours of productive output from their programmers. At least that's what my company was like expecting. Like, here's 8 hours. We're expecting you to get 8 man hours on this project, and they actually only ever got probably 3 from me, at least. And that also, yeah, in the morning, 7 to 11, whatever. Did I finally finish this playlist? There we go. Yes, build from existing op structs. For opbox save of opbox's save. I should say opbox saves. That's more understandable, more readable, at least. My mind thinks of it as plural if I attach an S to the saves, but script names, that's what I was doing. Where do I have script names? I have that stored in JSON config. I think it's just on the top level too. Data webs.conf.json. That is located Okay, so whoever calls... Oh wait, I think it exists on Protex state. It would be nice if it did. Nice, yeah, it's right there. So I just need to hand you s.script names and the outbox save to work with. Okay, so given an outbox save, I can set properties. So make the outbox, give it the class name, append it to the DOM, assign a header, assign write nub. Line indices are outbox save dots. Let me app source Protex renderer include .ts. What is the save? The save has offset left, offset top, and it has right line indices. So I just give you this up box save dot right. Just like that, and I give this other one outbox save. Make it draggable. What else does it need? It needs position sets, I guess. And that was existing on style. It's just outbox style. Oops. This gets its own function. And when making an hotbox, I need to set X and Y. Given hotbox, which we made, HTML hotbox. And this is just hotbox save, top and left, or left and top. So set its X and Y position, and header gets appended to the box. Right nub gets right line indices, left nub gets left line indices. And then finally I need to make lines if required. What's the best way to go about doing that? I'm making lines separately, I think. Can I build? I don't think I can build. What? Cannot find name, extractor name, 749. Extra name. I think I wanted extra def.name. Yeah, should have been extra def.name. And this is saving our hotboxes, and then finally I need to go and save SVG line. Where is my... this guy? And I am doing this only once, so this is fine. For SVG line of SVG mask.children. This doesn't exist yet, but I do need to get it, and this is SVG line of, for line save. Extra def dot SVG line pauses save. There should be code for adding a line somewhere. So this is making a line. Give me a line, connector line, set attribute x1 to be equal to just like that. So make a new line and append it there, and the make op box should take care of themselves. So ops at 0, that's 1133. And what is this code doing? This is on new extractor call. Get the new extractor name. If new extractor name equals this, then this is all code for restoring. I see. This needs a empty. Off box save. Pass it off box save. Actually, can I fix this right now? Because if I know the extractor, if I know this guy, then I know. So this is for each operation queue. I'm making an op box. Operation of the operation queue. I make an op box. What about the? I guess this is going to be extractors at the selected extractor index dot op save, right? I just closed the dot op boxes save. For each op box save, I am dealing with you, and we'll pass that to you, and that is now fixed. Fixed. No, this should be the current, this should be the current, well, I guess I'm modifying the outbox to save here. And this also doesn't, Opbox save doesn't have other things such as the offset or the pattern ID or the script name. So Opbox save also needs to communicate that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. So to do finish giving the relevant properties to opbox. Save and finish imports. Is this actually... If you can cancel adding an extractor, restore its DOM elements. This should be... the actual opbox. Okay. Well, thank you everyone that joined the stream. It was a pretty good day, and I will hopefully see people tomorrow.